All right, so hey there, everybody. Again, my name is Andrew King, editor-in-chief of Canadian Musician Magazine. This is Killer Record Release Strategies, the latest free music business webinar from Canadian Musician and NWC Webinars. Joining me, as I've mentioned, Rick Barker, internationally known music industry consultant. He currently manages Trent Harmon, American Idol winner, doing some shows with the one and only Rascal Flatts right now. He managed Taylor Swift through the burgeoning years of her career. He's worked for Sony Music, Live Nation, consulted, and I think still consults with Big Machine, an absolute powerhouse in the country music world. He's the social media mentor for contestants on American Idol, as well as those on CTV's The Launch here in Canada. He is an author. He has created a number of music business programs and resources, all with the intention, as we're doing here today, to help you propel your career in the music industry forward. So here, let's jump into it. Rick, no better place to start than, yeah, what's keeping you busy outside of joining us for this anticipated session?
You know what? What's been keeping me busy is trying to help people navigate this music business that seems to change on a weekly basis, especially with social media, especially with the ability to get direct to consumers. And people are now starting to pay attention that the majority of major superstars are now counting the days till they're going to be out of their major label deals, because they now want to be independent. They now see that the tools are available for them. They now see that with having direct access to the consumer, why put a middleman in there that in some cases can take a majority of the pie. So this is right now, I think, the best time ever to be in the industry. Just a couple things before we start. Let me start by saying I am pro indie. I am also pro label. A label deal is the right deal for the right artist, but the cool part is today that you do not have to be signed to a major in order to have success, and we're seeing more of that every day. Also, the opinions that I'm going to give you are just that. They're my opinions. I'm going to teach and share with you strategies that I have used, that I am currently using. There's a lot of other great information that's out there. So make sure that you take what you can and apply it to your situation. No one person has all the information. I learn from people every day. I'm a constant student. I'm a constant learner, as you should be. And I'm very appreciative of the fine folks at Canadian Musician Magazine for allowing me the opportunity to share with you guys tonight. So thank you, Andrew.
Well, thanks belong to you. Yeah, let's dive in here. Just to really quickly break it down, we've divided this strategy logically into the pre-launch period leading up to the release of your single EP or LP. And then, yeah, as you probably guess, most of the content here is weighted towards the pre-launch. So after that, we'll jump into the question period at the halfway point. And then following that, we'll talk about the actual record launch. And for our purposes, that will be essentially the 2 weeks from when your track or collection sees wide release through to, yeah, 2 weeks following that. And then we'll talk about some post-launch strategies, things you can do once things have cooled down, well, hopefully not cooled down too much, but yeah, following that busy 2-week launch period with some opportunities that could lead well into the future. As Rick said, I hope I'm not stealing this from you, but I love the quote, music is not milk. There's no expiration date on this stuff anymore. So let's roll. Pre-launch. So first of all, developing a plan. So we'll start at the point where you know that you've got some new music that's going to be going out there to the public for consumption. Let's jump in here, Rick. How much lead time should people be considering if they want to do this properly, execute the strategy you're about to share in good time?
Sure. I think what's interesting and what's important to know is that most people only focus on the launch. They release the record and then just kind of put it out into the world and hope that everyone else out there finds it. What I've learned in the strategies that we've tried 6 weeks, we've tried a month, because it is so noisy and crowded on the internet. I like to do about a 2-week time, and that's 2 weeks from when you physically take possession of the music, because the best thing for you to use to pre-promote the release of a full length, whether it be a full length single or a full length record, is the music. It's the best thing to sell. Another thing that you want to remember during the pre-launch is I've seen a lot of people make the mistake when they crowdfund that they will crowdfund the exact amount of money that they need to record the record. They didn't put aside anything for marketing and promotion, and that is a big no-no. All businesses, and you are a business, if you just answered that poll and you said that you're an artist, you are a business, and you have to start looking at it like a business. A lot of times what you'll see on the Super Bowl is you'll see previews of products that are about to be launched. They used the Super Bowl as their platform to announce a new product. You have the ability every day to utilize, what are we now, 2 billion people that are on social media. Those are free platforms to start the process. So what I like to do is I like to take a piece of music. I like to take the lyrics from the music. I like to take some visuals that help best describe the music. And I like to start planting that in the social media pages, not only of your own, but hopefully some friends as well. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to go ahead and build an audience during that 2 weeks. And what I like to do is I like to use Facebook to do that. And what I'm going to show you right now is how to go into Facebook, create an audience. A lot of the things, keep in mind, I'm going to be able to show you a lot tonight. I'm not going to be able to teach you because of the limited time that we have. But if you're if you would like to know more about me and the programs I offer and the help that I create, we'll give you my email at the end of this presentation, and you can reach out to me. And just a reminder too, you will get a replay of this. So don't panic if you don't happen to write something down. You're going to get to see this again. So Andrew, if you can go ahead and turn over, let me have control of the screen real quick. I'm going to take you into some places that I've pre-tabbed to show you how to go about doing this. So
Absolutely.
Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and give you this. All right. So what we have here is we are inside my Facebook Business Manager. Now, all of you should have a band page. Now, you have to have a personal page in order to start that. So if you have not created a band page, go ahead and do that, or some people call it your fan page. Here's the pieces that you are going to need social media wise. You're going to need Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're not really too concerned about YouTube right now, but let's just talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I have a whole YouTube strategy, but I'm going to leave that behind. So the first thing that you need to be able to do inside your Business Manager account. So once you go in to your Business Manager, you're going to go up here to where it says Ads Manager. You're going to click down and you're going to create a pixel. Now, you may or may not be familiar with what a pixel is. A pixel is a piece of code that's placed on certain pages of your website, your sales page, your transaction page, and so forth. What it's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us the opportunity to track the people that engage with us on Facebook. So all you do is you add a data source or data, depending on where you're from, click Facebook pixel, name what you want that pixel to be named. You can put, like I have Rick Barker's pixel, you create it, it's going to give you this piece of code. I'm not going to show you how to install all that tonight. You can go on YouTube or Google and type in how to install a Facebook pixel. It will show you. But you want to make sure that you have a pixel in place before you start running ads, because we need to know what these people are doing. That's super, super important. So there's three parts of a Facebook ad. There's a campaign, and that's where you determine what it is that you want to do. What I'm going to suggest that you do is you set up on this particular pre-launch is you're going to set up for video views. We're going to go out and we're going to run some videos with your music on it. Sometimes we're going to run videos with you doing a cover song of a popular band that you think their fans would like you. So we're going to go ahead and create the campaign for video views. So we'll do one real quick. So we'll create the campaign, and what's our objective? go down here, you click on video views. Okay, what are we going to call this? CMM web. Here we go. And then we hit continue. So now that we've done that, now we go into the ad set. The ad set is where we tell Facebook the type of audience that we want to go after. So one of the things that you're going to do is you're also going to go in. I've gone in and I've created a bunch of different audiences. So the one I'm going to use for an example for this is I'm just going to put Maddie example. Here's the ad set name so I can look it up. We'll just do CMM web. Then I'm going to go to what's called a saved audience. Now, I have a young artist by the name of Maddie Newton. So what I did with Maddie is a lot like Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande. But what I did was I had her go out and find what some of the most popular songs that are going on right now in the top 100. And Post Malone has a very popular song that's out right now. So what Maddie did is she created a 30-second video of her doing the hook and her style of this Post Malone song. So what we did is we created an audience of people that live in Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and the United States. Now, that list has now grown. I just got a brand new list today from one of my buddies who is a great Facebook marketer. We've added some states to that. What we've tried to find are places that people respond well to music. Certain countries. You want to stay out of certain countries because there's a lot of bots and a lot of nonsense. So we pick these countries. The age, we leave that up to Facebook. They're going to go figure out our audience. They know their people better than we do. So I put 13 to 65, English language, people who are interested in Post Malone. Now, here's what you need to understand. People that are interested in Post Malone are probably not interested in Maddie Newton, who's a lot like Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande. So what I did was I put and must also match Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande. And from that, I've created a group of people, this audience size up here of about 7.2 million people. Okay, so now we go and we set up the placements. You can learn how to do this. You can do this with a budget as low as $1 a day. So if I want to spend $1 a day, my estimated daily reach is between 180 and 640 people. And we could probably get between 21 to 110 people to watch a 10-second view. So as you can see, as you go and up your dollar amount, it gets a little bit bigger. So what I like to do in this pre-stage, just go ahead and spend a couple bucks a day. That's the investment that you're making into your business for the marketing. You keep it occupied for 10-second views. It's going to come, the dots are going to come in place. A lot of times just leave what Facebook has in there. But then what happens is then you go in, and after you've done this, you go and you continue. And now you're going to go in and you're going to figure out what you want to do. You're going to associate it with your fan Facebook page. You're going to put a single video. You can either upload a video, you can go in and take a post that's already on your Facebook page. You can use a selected post. So I encourage you to go ahead and put this 30-second video on your own Facebook page. Let it get some organic traffic, because that traffic carries over with you into your ad and can already show that people are watching the video and liking the video. And then down below, this is where you install your Facebook pixel. You pick the pixel that you created and you make sure that you have that incorporated. Now, some of you might be asking right now, you're like, well, wait a minute. Why aren't I showing these 7.2 potential million people my own music? We're not there yet in the relationship. I want you to remember, how do you look at Facebook? Most of you look at it on your phone. You scroll down looking for stuff that looks interesting to you or is familiar to you. Very seldom do we stop at something we don't know, and especially if it says 3 minutes or 4 minutes. You may only get a 10-minute break, a 15-minute break from school or work or whatever it is that you're doing. So the reason that we use the Post Malone song is, one, because it's identifiable to the audience that we picked. And if the video is only 30 seconds, if somebody likes Post Malone and they see an attractive picture or an attractive video or something that gets their attention, they're more apt to press on it. So when they press on it, Facebook now knows who they are, and we have the ability to go back and remarket to them a separate video. So that's the first part of the launch strategy. I let that run for a couple days, and then I go in, and the next thing that I do is I'm going to go back into Ads Manager, and I'm going to go into audiences, and I'm going to create what's called a custom audience. Once again, go to Google, how to create a custom audience. But what I want to do at this point is I want to create a custom audience. I want to look at this down at the bottom where it says engagement, and I want to go videos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and choose that video, people who watched at least 50% of the video, and then I'm going to tell them what video it is. Now I get to go, once I get that, I get to choose this. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to give me the chance now to choose a video. You'll go pick the one that you posted, and that will give you the opportunity to pick that. So what happens is if somebody took the time to watch 30 seconds of a video, that's someone who is potentially interested, because most people only watch between 6 to 10 seconds. So if you've got somebody, so let's say your ad was seen by 500 people, but only 100 watched it for half the time, 15 seconds. Those 100 people are the only folks that are going to see this next ad. And what this next ad is it's a 1 minute long version of the Post Malone song. So now if these people watch at least 50% of that, we're going to go back in, create another custom audience, and say we want to reach out to 50% to the people that watch 50% of this video, and now we're going to show them your video. We're going to show them either some imagery with a 1.5-minute portion of your song. We're going to figure out who these people are. Now, the reason that we're doing this is because once our 2 weeks is up, we will have created an audience of people who have engaged with your video, and then we're able to go into Facebook and say we would like to create a lookalike audience. So what Facebook's going to do is say, okay, of the people that we've given them the data of, they're going to go find other people like that. You can do a 1%, a 2%, a 3%. It's in the millions of people. So those are the folks that are more able to engage with what it is that you put out there. So then the next type of ad that you're going to run, so that's during the pre-launch content. So you're doing the Facebook ads during the pre-launch content. You are also, there's a free program called canva.com, canva.com. And this allows you to go in and let's say you want to create an Instagram post. You click on Instagram post. It gives you the right sizing. You can go and just drop a background on there. You can do something brighter if you want. Then you can put the lyrics to one of your songs. You can put your name below it. And then you can use that as an image coming whatever the date is in your link. If people are going to pre-order, you know, now you can do pre-orders on iTunes. You can now start putting hooks of your songs. You can put images with your lyrics. But the greatest thing about Canva is you can go do it for Twitter post, Facebook post. It sizes everything for you. Some of the stuff they look like, let me scroll down real quick. Sorry, I'm going fast. You know, I do a lot of quotes on my social media. You know, stop complaining. Everyone who died yesterday thinks you're one lucky son of a bitch. You know, that just happens to be one of the quote cards. It's got amazing stuff. Complaining about a problem without proposing a solution is called whining. You know, as you can see, there's a theme here. I hate people who are always in the poor me category. So I try to get people that are out of that. So as you're using your social media leading up to this, to the event as well. Another thing that you can start doing in that 2 weeks is go through your email list. If you've been collecting emails at shows, if you've been doing a lot of different things, start letting them know that the music's coming. What I like to do as well is utilize Instagram, and a lot of this is on the phone now, but Instagram now has IGTV. You're now allowed to shoot a video of any length up to an hour, which I don't recommend, but you could be sitting there telling people the story behind the song. You could be walking around in your part of the country, telling people what inspired you to write this record, really giving them a chance to get to know you. Because what normally happens with artists is we show up when we need things. We don't like our friends that just show up when they need things. So we don't want to be that. So during that 2-week period of time, you're constantly getting in their face. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you cannot post too much on social media. You're hoping that someone sees your content. Facebook will not overpost for you because they don't want to upset the end consumer. Twitter, I need to post 40 times a day hoping that you maybe see it. I'm not encouraging you to do that, but you can't post too much. Also, mix up your post. If Instagram is imagery, have a great piece of image. If Twitter allows you to link to a video, link to a video. If Facebook allows you to go live to talk about the recording process, maybe you shot some video behind the scenes in the studio, you can start using that content leading up to the release of the record. So I suggest going all out, warming up your audience before you launch the product. So that's what we have for you when it comes to the pre-launch. Might be a chance. Andrew, is there anything that you think we need to cover more on the pre-launch?
Just a few quick questions
Okay.
on the content that you just walked us through. Let's see. Yeah, just bringing people back. So first off, when you mentioned, when we're starting this, the 30-second video clip with the hook to the Post Malone song,
Yes.
and then the next step as you refine that audience, it was now we can post maybe a 60-second clip of said song. Now, does it make more sense one way or the other to film an entirely new video, or in the first place, do we want to have maybe the full cover of that Post Malone song, and then we can manipulate that video and extract clip from it to the length that we need?
That's a great question. I like doing two separate pieces of content because people see the edits. And once they start seeing edits and it gets too fancy, their mind automatically shifts to they're trying to sell me something. You've got to remember the most popular stuff on the internet with social media today are the things that are happening instantly. What you want to make sure though is you've got a good quality camera. You can even use your phone, put it on a tripod, back away, practice a little bit. But I like having two separate pieces just because it shows that when people see it for the first time, it just like you're an artist that's lying. If they see it chopped up, they may think, oh, they're not that good. They had to edit this thing. So I want you to show them who you are. Now, we used Post Malone because Maddie's a pop artist. If you're a rock artist, go do a cover of the band that you think these fans would be most apt to want to click on and play. So, if you're into Maroon 5, do a Maroon 5 cover. If you're into 5 Seconds of Summer, do a 5 Seconds of Summer. Do something that's genre specific because ultimately we want to attract an audience that's going to want to buy your music. And you can go find those fans. You can even, if you're starting from scratch, you can go out and in Facebook just target people who like 5 Seconds of Summer in Canada, in the US, in all those different countries. It's going to show you the audience. Now, the bigger reach, the more you're going to have to spend. I say in the beginning, just start with a couple bucks, because once you get 50 or 60 people that you can give that information to Facebook, they can do a lot with it. Also, if you already have an email addresses of your fans, you can insert those email addresses into Facebook and they'll go find you people based on, if they have Facebook profiles, they'll go find you people that are similar based on that.
Gotcha. Now you showed us canva.com. Is that a free service?
It's a free service. You can get the upgrade if you want, but you can definitely use it for free. It does not post a logo. I call it Photoshop's for dummy, and I'm the dummy. I don't work with layers. I don't work with all this stuff. And this came out. There's quite a few apps on your phone that you can get as well that will size it and do things for you. I have a whole section of those, a whole little deal inside my phone that I just use. There's a crop video app. There's all kinds of different stuff that you can use. And they're just apps that are on your phone. And these are all free tools that I'm sharing with you outside of your ad spend on Facebook. Everything that I'm going to show you is free. If you want more from them, they all have paid programs, but they're usually not a lot, like $9-10 or something like that.
Got it. Okay. And then last question, and we can move on from this. But yeah, what we've spoken about so far, video, images, very visually engaging media, we'll say. So I've got in here text, like as far as longer Facebook posts, you know, the storytellers or people that like to share jokes or clever. I know that it's not a one size fits all solution, as you alluded to, and that, you know, different things are going to work for different artists and different audiences. But do you recommend largely throughout the pre-launch process focusing on video and eye-catching visuals versus a more, I guess, dialogue, text-heavy approach?
I do, and the reason I do is because Facebook, which we do not own, has said that live video is the one thing that they're going to let more people see organically. So if you don't want to pay, you don't want to run Facebook ads, you need to do the things that the platform has said will get you more exposure. So live video is always really good. Video is number 2. Images are number 3. And text is 4. They've noticed that they're looking for engagement. They're only going to show in people's news feeds what they've shown that they would like to engage with. And most people engage with video and pictures.
Bingo. Okay, cool. Some great questions coming in, folks. Keep it coming. Yeah, that takes us to the end of content. We're almost at the question period, but one more thing to cover in the pre-launch is everything we've talked about here is public facing, you engaging directly with your audience. But then as far as trying to drum up some media attention ahead of a release, yeah, we've got here like what's something newsworthy that a media outlet might latch on to? Who are you going for? And can you walk us through some of these points?
Sure. So there's an organization out there called the Music Industry Connection. I'm showing it up on the screen right now.
Aha, coming over to you.
Okay. All right. So it's the THEMICCO.com. So what the Music Industry Connection is it's one of the most amazing sites that I've ever found. I know Emily, the gal who organized this together. This is an online database of Spotify curators, blog directories, indie radio stations, you know, country radio stations. It's great because you can go to this blog directory, you click on it, and it's going to tell you who these people are. So in Vancouver, Canada, here's a blog called 3 a.m. Revelations, mostly live shows, but also, oh goodness, you're just going to go through and do some research. And a lot of times these people are looking for content. Then once you get featured, because right now it's like if you're, go for what's local to you right now. The Rolling Stone magazine isn't going to write about you. You know, Canadian Musician Magazine, unless it's something really cool, Andrew, you're better than I am at this. You're just not going to put something in your paper because Rick Barker happens to be releasing a CD. You're not going to waste that space unless you're telling something that you feel brings value. So you in your own town doing a nationwide release, that could be cool for your small town newspaper. But what you get to do after that is take that piece of press and put that in a Facebook post and start sharing what's called social proof. Wow, this band must be something. They just got written up in this newspaper. They don't know how big the newspaper is. They don't know how big these blogs are. So reach out to some of these blogs, find out who, once you click on the blog, it shows you, here's their website, here's the submission form, you know, here's who it is. Here's his Twitter handle. You could go follow him on Twitter and say, yo, @original stranger, love your blog. He's egotistical, more than likely. He's going to reach out and say, thank you. Now you've started this relationship. But just because you're putting out music doesn't make it newsworthy. If there's a story, you know, I'm making this stuff up now, but, you know, soldier just gets back from Afghanistan, releases his first country album. Some people might find that interesting. That's kind of got a little different take on it. You know, you want to find out whatever you feel makes it newsworthy. But in the meantime, all these blogs need stuff to write about. A lot of these editorial places need things to write about. You could go hire a PR firm. I don't recommend it yet, because all they're going to do is send your story to the same people you have access to, and they're going to charge you $1,500 a month for it. Most of the press, unless you're already known, can come afterwards, because now it's like, this song has now been streamed 500,000 times. What makes this band so special? Well, I'm going to click on that. Okay, what makes this band so special? And then you're able to tell your story. There's a band in Canada called Bombargo. Bombargo, basically, Taylor Swift found one of their songs and put it on her Spotify playlist on things Taylor thinks is cool. They reached out to me. I said, here's how I would use that piece. I would go out and run a Facebook ad that says, why, you know, who the heck is this band that Taylor Swift added to her playlist? And I would put it on Facebook, because you got to understand something. All of you, every single one of you now own your own PR company. It's called Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. When's the last time any of you read a press release? Probably not. When's the last time any of you really, unless you're into blogs, went to a blog? You didn't. You usually find out everything you need to find out on social media. You are your own PR person. Go create a buzz, and then they'll start reaching out to you. But don't sweat it if you don't get a lot of pre-press. Even artists that are signed to labels are fighting for press. It's very noisy out there right now. So don't be discouraged. Create your own. Start your own Twitter page that talks about the coolest new bands in the world. People don't need to know it's you, and start featuring bands. There's all kinds of different things that you can do to create your own press.
Right on. Two things I want to tack on. Oh,
the music industry connection. You can get a free portion of it, but other than that, it's $9 a month, and it's worth every penny of that to me, because I know how long it takes to go on Google to try to find all this stuff out myself.
Bang on. Yeah, two things. As far as media attention here, we did just want to touch on this, but nwcwebinars.com, we've got a previous session on maximizing your media attention that can dive a lot deeper into that. And the second point, I think what Rick's saying holds a lot of water about, you know, especially artists in the burgeoning stages of their career. As you said, you know, you're going to hire a publicist that's going to have access to a lot of the same people that you do. Although I will throw in, as someone that interfaces with a lot of publicists, that at a certain stage in your career, you're going to hit a few tiers where there's going to be opportunities like high profile television appearances, etc., where, you know, some of the better publicists, at least that we deal with here in Canada, are very much worth their salt, but you just need to, be careful in how you navigate that. Bottom line, though, is a really good publicist isn't going to take your money and take on your account unless they feel that they can add value to what you're doing. So just some things to keep in mind, but I think we're in great shape.
Let me interject as well. Before you reach out to a publicist, before you reach out to Andrew and his staff, make sure that you are prepared for the possible exposure that you're going to get. There's a very famous story about a young lady that got invited to the Oprah Winfrey show, and she didn't have a book and she didn't have a website. And there's no way for her to go back and recapture that. So one of the things that I teach all the artists that I work with, both who are my personal coaching clients, the ones I manage, make sure you have a website that's pixeled so that anybody who visits your website, you can go retarget to them later, and make sure you have social media. And also make sure you're active on social media. There's this thing called SEO, search engine optimization. So what happens is, if I'm the booker of a television show and I get told about the Andrew King Band, I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to go find out what I can about the Andrew King Band. And if it shows up that Andrew doesn't have a website, Andrew doesn't look like a professional musician all of a sudden. If it shows that there's his Twitter page and you log on to his Twitter page and he hasn't posted in 3 weeks, it shows that Andrew isn't taking this opportunity very serious. So why would I waste this amazing opportunity on someone who's not ready for it? So you want to prepare yourself to be able to take advantage of every opportunity that gets presented to you. Because what I tell the artists that I work in is I can open a lot of doors for you, but once you step inside the door, it's out of my hands. So my job is to prepare you the best way that I can. There's so often that you guys are spending a lot of money on music before you have an audience. Shame on you. You should be building your audience first. It doesn't matter how great your music is if no one hears it. And you need to sometimes show these people, your publicist. For me, a publicist is a great expense right now because I have things in place to capitalize on whatever attention that I get. It took me a while to get there. I just didn't all of a sudden decide I wanted to start teaching the music business and doing these things. I had to prepare myself before I even offered my program. So I suggest and recommend that you guys make sure, I have a checklist that I'll send you guys if you want later of what you need to have in place before you go out and do this, because it can get real expensive real fast.
Jeez, this is great. Okay, I've got a few questions here. Keep them coming, folks. First off, Rick, the audience building, the initial Facebook warm up with the 30-second clip, is that going to work still? Or I guess the question is, are there any differences you might see, even if you currently don't have much of a Facebook following?
No, because you're actually paying for it. If you don't, when I buy these ads, Facebook's not going to my followers, they're going to whoever I tell them. Now, that's a great question, because it used to be that in the beginning stages of Facebook advertising, you could only advertise to your followers. So the whole focus was build your followers, build your followers, build your followers. Now Facebook said, forget it, we'll let you advertise to anybody in the world. So the key is finding the right targeting. I always say, you can have the best hamburger in the world, but if you open it up in a town of vegetarians, you screwed yourself. So let's make sure that the person that's seeing your ad is someone who potentially will like your original music. So no, you do not need a big following. You just need a Facebook page. Because think about this. How often do you go to other people's Facebook pages? We don't. We scroll down in our own feed. And that's why Facebook shows you the video in your own feed. They don't want you to leave.
All right. One from Lisa. She knows that fan engagement is a major part of what you teach and to follow people back. However, Instagram now limits who you can follow back to 5,000 people. Facebook doesn't allow an artist to follow anyone that likes their fan page. Does this ever present a challenge in terms of maybe fans feeling left out or not engaged?
No, one of the things you can do to battle that is I'm big on commenting. So you can always, if somebody leaves you a comment, whether you follow them or not, you can thank them. And
great point.
That interaction with you, you can DM anyone you want. You know, thank you is a very powerful word, you know, and it's like I always tell people, imagine how you would feel if your favorite artist liked one of yours. You can, you know, go and like their stuff without following them. So those are just early limitations. You know, it's not as important anymore. It's like, for example, I'll tell you guys something real quick off topic with Instagram. There's less and less folks posting multiple times on their Instagram page like they used to, now that most people are responding to stories. You'll go look at some huge Instagram accounts that have 0 posts, but they're doing 5 stories a day because that's where they know the people are hanging out. So as social media changes, you just change along with it, but don't be as concerned about following somebody back. I spend a lot of time unfollowing people that are inactive because I don't want my post showing up on an inactive page. I would rather have people that are engaged. I would rather have less followers that are more engaged than a whole bunch of followers that don't do anything.
All right, one more question here. There are a few more in the queue. We will get to those at the end of the session, so don't worry. But Max is asking, when you're building your audience, like going back to the very beginning of the Facebook lesson we were doing, you mentioned to run the ad for a few days to grow your audience and then narrow that down to the people that showed interest, etc. As you're narrowing down your audience, does it make sense to keep that original 30-second ad running
Yes.
to, I guess, continue spurring growth that way and just keep
I never stop it, honestly, because the more it runs, the more Facebook's learning about the people who interact with it. So every time you go to run the second ad, that's the people who've engaged with this, it's constantly feeding itself.
Well, there you go.
Well,
Thanks, Max.
I don't stop it. I mean, I sat with a major record company recently and said, you should take every video piece of content that you have access to, and it should be running at $1 a day, because it's always brand new to someone else. Every day someone's signing on. There's going to be 3 billion people coming online because of phones that have no clue who The Weeknd is, or Drake, or Taylor Swift. Do you think they're not going to go back and want to know everything about their favorite artist? This stuff can constantly be working for you. So I always like to keep most things running. You know, obviously you're just continuing to build that audience is all you're doing, and bringing them into your world. And even if your record's already been out, it's still somebody brand new who found you. That's where the milk doesn't have an expiration date. The music doesn't, is because someone finds you, you're going to want to control their journey. So if the first time they see you get this, the next time they see you, they get this, the next time they see you, they see original music. And then maybe the next ad that they see, which I'm going to show you here during the launch, is how to buy your record. Because Walmart's not kicking anyone off the shelves anymore. Best Buy, those stores are gone. Your music stays on iTunes as long as iTunes is up. So why not be driving people to buy your music every day? The labels really stop promoting after 2 weeks. Then they move on to the next artist and to the next project. And I'm like, shame on you. You don't have to do that.
Bang on. Yeah, a couple more that we will jump to momentarily. I'm editorializing here, but I am learning a lot and taking more notes than I have for any of these. Thanks a ton, Rick.
Hey,
so
I have
here
that
we are.
effect on people, and that's why we're talking about doing more of these, and actually a couple live events where we can spend the whole day teaching. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, much more coming at you down the road. So here we are, the launch period. Again, another Rick Barker quote that I can't take credit for, but this is the all-out warfare. So you mentioned already about you can't post too much, but yeah, let's talk a bit more about some of the things that you should be doing and doing obsessively during this 2-week period.
So during this 2-week period that you are promoting, you should be DMing fans, asking them what they think of the stuff, seeing if you can get quotes, any visual that you can grab. Oh my gosh, just listen to the new Andrew King album. I love it. Screenshot that thing and turn it into a post. People love, I always say, no one wants to be the first person to the party, but everyone wants to jump in on a conversation that everyone's talking about. And post that thing over and over and over. You can get 10 or 15 quotes. You should have, if you don't have 10 or 15 super fans anyway, I don't know why you put out a record. So go to those people that you can reach out to and say, would you mind shooting a 30-second video singing along to my record? Then you take that video and you make an ad out of it. What the heck is this person singing about? And then as you drive them, now here's what's also great. Now that your music is out on Spotify and Apple, they have what's called APIs. So what happens is you can take a link from your song. If you go into Spotify, you can take the link, you can put that in a post, and it will open up a player inside of Twitter and Facebook. And now Instagram lets you share your Spotify piece because they don't want you leaving. So they allow it to play inside of Twitter. So what I like to do on Facebook at this point is that if I'm going to put my song and the player in an ad, I'm also going to target people who have shown interest in Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Google Play. And the reason for that is because if you can get a stream from start to 30 seconds, you now get paid. That's how they pay you, is a stream for 30 seconds. If these people don't have Spotify or Apple, Spotify and Apple is going to randomly select the 30 seconds that gets played, and then they're going to ask them, would you like to sign up for a Spotify account? I like to eliminate that ahead of time by just making sure, because most of us stay logged into our Spotify account on their phone. So if you click the play button, it'll start from the beginning and keep playing. So that's what I mean by all-out warfare. Every single day, your job should be, how can I get my music heard by as many people as possible today? Now your Instagram, your Twitter, and your Facebook become your own radio station. You are driving people to hear your song as often as you can. And then you're reaching out to these fans and and at this point, you are thanking and retweeting every person that says something nice about your song on social media. You're resharing it and you're saying thank you. Just don't retweet it because then it looks egotistical. Do quote tweet. Thank you so much, Rick. I'm glad you liked it. Done. Simple as that. Is it going to take time? Yes, but this is your job. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. The one thing that separates a superstar from an artist that's good is called work ethic. You need to show up every day for work. And think about it like this. You're in a job where no one can tell you no. No one can tell you how many times you can put your music out there today, as many times as you want. A radio station's not going to play it 10 times a day. But you know what? You can. And guess where we're listening to our music these days? On our phones. So your job is to get your music on as many phones as you possibly can. Do not think about, well, I'm posting too much. No, you can't. Because Twitter is not going to let everybody see it. Instagram's not going to let everybody see it. And Facebook's not going to let everyone see it. But those that engage with it, they're more apt to see the next thing. And that's the tabs. And that's the algorithms working to say, okay, Rick has engaged with everything that Andrew's ever posted. So next time Andrew posts something, Andrew doesn't have to pay to get Rick to see it. Rick's going to see it anyway. And there's also a strategy that I'm going to give as a free gift to you right now. Andrew, if you could show my screen.
Coming right up.
This one is a game changer.
Okay, I like words like that.
So people started complaining that Facebook's not letting everybody see my stuff. Well, first off, quit whining because you don't own Facebook. Facebook does. Facebook has spoiled us. They've given us everything for free. If Facebook is not showing your posts to your fans, it's your fault. And I'll tell you why. Your fans have not shown Facebook that they engaged with your stuff. So what you can do, and I shot a whole video on this, is I went to my fans and I said, listen, if you want to see my post, here's what I need you to do. This little button right below the video that says following, tell them, click, see first, and turn on highlight post. Now they will see everything that you post because you just told Facebook, I want to see everything that Rick Barker's posting. If they don't do that, it just means you're not there in your relationship with them yet, and post better stuff. Because the biggest mistake that most people, artists, vote for me, do for me, look at me, me. No, you know what? I don't like people that show up to me when they only need stuff. I don't want you being that way. So the stuff that I'm giving are access to my podcast, great quotes. They can go hear more information. What was I talking about? Hey, here's this cool webinar I'll be doing. This is something that brings value to them. I put out 2 podcasts a week. I've got this great that you can do now. It's like you can do these for your music too. You could have your CD cover and you could have your music. This is just an app that we've used. The people that I pay to put up my podcast for me create all these visual things. Here's something that I shared that I didn't even have to write. I just shared it from Success Magazine. 700 people saw it. Other people engaged with it. You know what you can do too. Here's a quick trick while we're in here. Don't get me on Facebook, Andrew, because I can teach 5 hours on that. You click on these people, you see their names. Once you click on it, Facebook's going to tell you whether they like your page or not. And if they haven't, you can invite them just like that. And that's how you can increase your likes as well from people that have engaged with you. All right, I'm done. Jump me off this or I'll stay here forever. So.
Okay, well, I didn't hear anyone complaining, but
restrict me. Yeah. Take the toys away quick. So that 2-week period, and I wouldn't even end it at 2 weeks, because the post-launch, all you're doing now is going to tell people what's been going on, showing other people's excitement, because there's no expiration date, because it's always new. If you've just released a song, go out and shoot some new stuff. Go do an Instagram live, thanking everyone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe the support. You guys are crazy. We just hit 1,000 streams on Spotify. Thank you. People like to get involved with gracious people. One of the things I always told Taylor, if you always err on the side of humble and gracious, you will always attract new people into your world. Also, too, once a day, 10, 15 minutes. Here's how I tell people to treat their social media. Give them something for breakfast, give them something for lunch, and give them something for dinner, and give it to them on all 3 platforms or 4 platforms. You don't need to be everywhere, but at least on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, because not everyone goes to all 3. If you built an audience on all 3, don't ever deprive anyone of getting your information. The more buzz you start to create, the more activities. We took a picture, this family, these 2 little kids were in a car seat singing along to Trent Harmon's new song. I took that video that somebody posted and created an ad out of it and used it as a pre-order for people to go buy autographed copies. And we sold like 300 autographed CDs off of that Facebook ad alone. It cost me about $5 per purchase, but the purchase was for $20. So I was up 15 bucks on every purchase because I had something that was cool and attractive and caught their attention. Now that the CD's out, we're running polls. What's your favorite song? You can do a poll now on Facebook. You could do a poll on Twitter. You could take your CD and you could do a Facebook Live listening party and tell everybody the stories behind the songs and everyone listens to it. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do. The sky's the limit, but just be accessible to your fans. Don't all of a sudden stop commenting and following after the release of your record. That's the worst thing that you can do. You know, continue the party, continue the conversation going. And a lot of what you do at the beginning is definitely going to determine what you can do at the end, because if famous people retweet things, you know, don't forget to learn how to properly tag. Don't over tag. Like I said, if you guys want more information from me, I teach all this, and I have programs that help you do this. You can just shoot me an email. rick@rickbarker.com is my email, and I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. Go to my Instagram @rickbarkermusic. The bio and the link. This is another cool thing. It's called Linktree. Inside my bio, it says click here for my podcast, click here to download a free copy of my book, click here to get a free handout and webinar. There's all these little tools and tricks that are out there. Once you know how to use your weaponry, you can become very, very dangerous.
A consummate professional. For anyone looking at the clock, it is a hair away from 9 on the hour here. Outstanding. And we're at our next question period. So we can stick around for about 15 or so and work our way through. If you've got something you want to put in front of Rick, send it in now because the clock is ticking. This is a great question. And Sydney, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to kind of unpack it a little bit. So Sydney's question is, YouTube channels seem to be huge right now. Do you think a channel following a new artist's journey to creating a record and releasing it would be beneficial to growing a fan base? Now, my initial thought is I think that would be very beneficial to a fan base, an existing one, maybe not so much growing someone or growing that fan base. I think you need them in your world to give them something that compelling. But that then raises the question, Rick, of, you know, as you're building that audience, I think you kind of want to be flirting with, you know, producing content and showing that your brand is big and maybe on par with some of the successful artists that you're trying to emulate or follow. All this to ask, like, how much, you know, say you've got 100 or 200, like what's the magic number of fans that kind of once you got them into your world, you can start really investing in content that's going to
I think
appeal to them?
Once again, I don't think it needs to be super shiny. I think right now Instagram TV is a great tool. Here's the thing you got to remember about YouTube. YouTube is a search engine. People type in what they're looking for. If no one's looking for you, that might not be the great place or the only place that you want to grow this. I like what you said about these cool videos. I would post them organically inside of Facebook. I would post them on Instagram TV, and I would post them on YouTube, because each has a different, see, the thing with YouTube is YouTube's going to show everything to your subscribers. If you want to build subscribers on YouTube, you need to post stuff that people are searching for. So that's why you see a lot of cover songs on YouTube, because they're trying to build an audience, and then in the description they link them to where they can go hear their original material or the next video that plays as an original song. But no one's really on YouTube searching for you. I would use Instagram TV, and I would use Facebook organic video, and you can do up to 2-minute videos on Twitter, or you can post a link for people to go watch your video on Facebook.
Okay, thanks, Sydney, and sorry for running away with that one. Any Ooh, this is an interesting one, and actually, now that I think about it, Rick, I wonder if it's something you faced with the bilingualism in the South of Spanish and English, but of course here in Canada with the 2 official languages,
Right.
we've got a bilingual artist here that records and performs in both languages. Should she be considering like writing social media posts and creating content in English and French simultaneously, or posting these individually in each language?
2 separate posts. You can also now, I encourage all of you to caption your videos. A lot of times people are listening with the music off, believe it or not, because they're at work or they're at school. And you can have it captioned in a different language, but I would post both, and then I would run ads to each one individually, targeting the separate markets. I think that's a great problem to have.
Right on. I guess this goes a bit more beyond the audience building of what we're talking about, actually, because I know the person asking the question. What's up, Nikki? She says folks have been talking about releasing 1 or 2 singles ahead of a record. Like, so in this, we're talking about an LP launch. Yeah, what are your thoughts on trickling out full songs leading up to an EP or LP release, and any strategy as far as timeline, etc., that's most effective that you found?
I like that. A lot of times what happens now is there'll be a few songs that are released. Maybe 1 song went to radio, or maybe 2 songs already went to radio. I'm talking now on the major label side. Those are called instant grat tracks. So when you pre-order the record on iTunes, they will instantly make sure that you have the songs that have already been released. You could do a 5-week campaign, release a song a week with a story behind the song, video, imagery for each of the videos. But what's cool about it is now you've got the first week you release 1 song, then the next week you're marketing 2 songs, then the next week you're marketing 3 songs. Then if you can get them to go pre-order on Instagram, there's now a thing with show.co from CD Baby that you can preload the songs to your playlist on Spotify. And we didn't even get into that whole world. That's a whole nother segment as well. But you can now get people to pre-save your song to their Spotify playlist. And if you've got 1,000 people that have done that, the algorithms at Spotify go, holy crap, I may want to check out this song, or notify one of our curators to check out this song because there's all this great activity with it. So yeah, I don't mind releasing 5. If you got 5 songs and it's going to be a 6-song EP, go 5 weeks, count back 5 weeks, and do the same thing I taught you to do in the 2-week all the way leading up. Same strategy.
Boom.
You just got more content. That's the cool part.
Cool. Appreciate the question, Nikki. One more here, I guess. If anyone else wants to fire one off, you've got a bit of time. But Max asked, if you're running an ad from an original Facebook post that had great traction, is that post going to keep growing, or is the post growth dying as you transfer it, or I guess turn it into an advertisement?
No, it keeps growing, because since you're boosting a post, anyone who sees your post from the ad gets to leave comments. So your comments keep adding. What we'll do a lot of times is I'll put up a video, and for myself, I'll wait to see it get to 500 views, 1,000 views, and see what sticks. And if something starts getting traction organically, then I go throw money at it. I just don't. A lot of times I almost start everything out as a post and see what happens, see if people are responding. Also, it depends on the size of your audience, but if you've got a limited audience, but you saw 15 people liked it and 8 people shared it, that's good. That's something that says, wow, this is getting engagement compared to the numbers that I have. So then I would go ahead and throw money at that. But yeah, I like doing stuff because the numbers never stop. So I cheat. I love starting it in my post first. And then what I'll do is I'll use Twitter to drive people to watch the video. I'll use my email list to say, hey, everyone, oh my gosh, you won't believe this video I just shot. Click here, so that I can just get the clicks up and the views up. And then I run an ad to it. So when people see it, they go, okay, something's going on here. Look at all this activity already.
This is a great one, Adam. Thank you for this. Rick, any ideas for folks out there that do instrumental music, can't create lyric videos or lyric cards or even the fans singing along ideas? Any suggestions, creative ways that they can get attention?
Yeah,
otherwise?
they can put a beautiful image with their music in the background and just make sure that you're targeting people that like instrumental music. And yeah, that's when you go in and you type all these different interests in Facebook, you know, type in some of the names of some of your favorite instrumental artists, and it'll say they have this many people that we could reach. Click on those bands. I mean, I did one for Trent, for example. I went and I put in every male country singer right now that's current on the chart, and people must also like Spotify, Apple, and Google. It created an audience, and I shared his music with those people because those are people that will probably like him. My biggest audience still, though, which was crazy, was still folks that said they liked American Idol because he was the American Idol winner. So when I post and I target that audience, my comments are geared toward that audience. If you are targeting towards a specific band, make sure in your description, you know, that you get to mention the band in there somewhere and tag them too. Tag the band. Oh my gosh, at Third Day, did you hear so-and-so's version of your song? Whatever, you know, it's like, but make sure that the description, make sure that it's all optimized properly, that you're not just, hey, this is Rick Barker. Check out my cool cover of so-and-so. No, let's get a little bit more creative. Let's use emojis. Let's do whatever it can to visually get their attention. And, you know, I said this to Kevin Bruner, who is the head marketing guy at CD Baby. He's got a band called Small Town Poets. And people that love Third Day, and I just said, here's what I would do. I would reach out to Third Day's audience and goes, you know, these guys are going to give Third Day a run for their money. Then the fans either going to go, who the heck do these people think they are, and play it, or they're going to listen to it and go, oh my God, these guys are great. Always have that one cocky one. That will get more clicks. We can weed them out later, but you just want to get that engagement in the beginning. Don't be too crazy, but you know, should these guys tour with Third Day? Because I asked them, which is band? They go, oh, people who love Third Day will love us. Should this band tour with at Third Day? Question mark. Yes, no. People are going to have to listen to be able to answer the question. And we asked them a simple question. We didn't ask them, go listen to this video and tell me what you think about it. That's another mistake we made. We try asking people too much too early in the relationship.
Oh, okay.
Which is also a whole nother conversation.
I was going to say that's interesting because they often tell you to, and by they, I'm not sure who I mean, but, you know, ask questions.
Ask simple questions.
Yeah.
I had which shirt, and hold up 2 shirts. Should I tour in Mexico? Yes or no? Not, don't ask them to do something and then give you an answer. Because like I said, we may not be there yet. Simple questions, get simple answers. And by the way, when you ask simple questions and Facebook sees people engaging with your post, they're now going to let more people see it. So don't handcuff yourself by trying to get laid on the first date, if that makes any sense. Date, spread it out, take your time. Because they've engaged with your post, because I can teach you how to properly go retarget them, we don't need to get all their money on the first date. We don't need all that. We just need them to engage somewhat. Click on something, watch something. Once they do that, then we can have the second date, and then the third date, and then the fourth date, and then we can ask them to marry us.
Thanks for the plug. We'll have Rick's Killer Tinder Strategies webinar coming up shortly. Last one here, and to anyone else, remember rickbarker.com.
Rick@rickbarker.com. Yep.
Bingo. I should mention there too, as we did in the promo, that if you head over there now, Rick's giving away copies of the book he wrote for free, or I guess I should say for your email address.
Yeah,
But
you
we
just gotta
highly
tell me where to
recommend it.
send it. I can't send it to somebody I don't know. So you just tell me where to send it and I'll shoot it off to you.
Boom, and that comes with the Canadian musician endorsement. So last one here from Lisa, and I know that Lisa was paying attention when you mentioned, about work ethic and that this is your full-time job. But with that in mind, how do you, or maybe we can use Trent as an example, but physically keep up with all of the comments and engagement across the different platforms without spending hours upon hours a day? Are there any tips to, not minimize, but just keep that
Yeah,
from
no,
getting too
absolutely.
time consuming?
Goes back to what I said earlier. If you can get 15 minutes in the morning to get something posted, it shouldn't take you that long. Take 5 minutes to go comment on some stuff, give them something at lunch, where you would snack, go in and answer comments. On notifications, if you click on DMs, you'll see all your messages. If you click on comments, you'll see all your comments. There's ways to have them show up on one side of your computer inside of Facebook, because Facebook and Instagram are, Facebook owns Instagram. There's ways to have it all in one location. A lot of what I teach in the programs that I sell teach you how to get your time back, teach you how to run your business and still be a student or still be a parent, or some of you still have full-time jobs. My goal is to give you the tools that you need to take care of your business, so that, if you think about it, there's 16 hours in a day. If you get 8 hours of sleep, and most of you aren't working 16 hours. So there is time. We've just got to make it a priority, and we got to learn how to use the tools, because that's what I always try to do. Whenever I invest in something, always I ask, am I going to be able to get some time back? It's like I told the guy the other day, he runs a studio. He says, dude, I need somebody to help me. I said, would it be worth it to you to pay someone $10 an hour for 20 hours a week? Would that $200 be worth getting 20 hours back? He goes, absolutely. I said, then go put out that you have a job that pays $200 a week part-time, and someone will take that job, and then offer him free studio time. He goes, I'm in. He hired somebody immediately. Once you put a value on your hour, your whole mindset will change.
Right on. Rick, this is outstanding. I've started now not getting as many questions, but just tons of compliments, thank yous that I'll share with you following. Thank you, though, to everyone that came out and invested this time into pushing your career forward. That's a step in the right direction. rickbarker.com, Rick Barker Music across social media. musicbooksplus.com/webinars. Here are 3 titles that we recommend. You can save 10% if you use the coupon code webinars. And yeah, this is stuff that's just going to complement the content of what we just went through. Plenty more we could say about this, and encourage you to engage Rick, or of course submit your questions, comments to us, NWC, or wait, I'm at aking@nor.com. There is a poll that's going to go around very, very quick, just post-webinar survey, where we would love your feedback on the quality of the presentation, etc. That helps us make sure that we're delivering you things that you want going forward. And to the people that have asked, yes, indeed, you'll get an email about 24 hours from now with a link to a full recording of this session, and you can feel free to share that with anyone that you think would get value out of it. We more than appreciate your time and attention. Rick, anything you want to throw out before we sign off?
No, I just appreciate everybody for spending their evening with us. I look forward to getting to know more about you. Hit me up on the website, rickbarker.com. There's a contact page. You can grab a free copy of the book, and I'm always excited to do this. So I appreciate you.
Bang on. And I'm Andrew King, Editor-in-Chief, Canadian Musician, CanadianMusician.com, NWCWebinars.com. We've got our next 3 posted there. Register ASAP. These things fill up fairly quickly. And thank you. We'll catch you next time.